Hi, Sue Wilson here from Creative Expressions. In today's episode, we're going to do a little twist on my favorite white on white card. I've added a pop of blue in today just to bring out a different idea for you for your Christmas cards. Right, to show you the products that we'll be using, I've got two masks that I'm going to be using from That Special Touch. I've got the small polka dot and the large polka dot. The dies that we'll be using from Spellbinders are the 2011 Heirloom Ornament and the Create a Flake 3. And for the side backgrounds on our card, we're going to be using the A4 embossing folder from my design range called Heart Lattice. Now, what I'll do is I'll start with the background. And the interesting thing about this is to look at the card, you might think that's a continuous piece of blue cardstock all the way across, but no. I've just used two tiny strips here. What's nice about that is we all have those leftover little bits in our creative stash that just kind of sit to the side and we think, oh, we'll use those. Well, this is a perfect card for that. You can use them. So I'm going to put them into my Heart Lattice folder, and we'll put a little bit of removable tape and hold them into place. And give them an emboss. That looks good. Now, the folder or the sandwich for this is your base plate with your folder on top. I'm going to put a little shim in the center and my raspberry plate on top of that. We'll pass it through the grand caliper and get a beautiful emboss. Right, let's just see how it looks. Oh, lovely. Let me take these out, move some things to the side, and we'll continue. I've got the tape that I'm just going to remove, and I'll show you my panels. So you can see I've got a beautiful heart lattice look to that. Now on my original card, I used a different embossing folder, but I think this is a beautiful substitute for it. So we'll put this together now. I'm going to use a little bit of double-sided tape and mount both of these on the edge. That looks good. And a little bit on this one. Now for the center of the card, what I've done is I've cut a piece of coconut white and I've just scored it with a scoreboard because it just gives it a little bit of a unique look to it. So let me show you. I went ahead and did that ahead of time for you. And to raise it up, I've put a little bit of mounting foam on the back. So we end up with a three-panel look to it. We can center that right in between them. There you go. Now you can take a little more time and get it straighter on your card. Okay, so I'm going to set that to the side at the moment, and we're going to work on our bauble. Now, I've got three different sizes of the heirloom bauble. I'm going to cut them with the coconut white card. I've taped them into place, but to save a little bit of time, I'm going to use the masks with them. Because they're very, very thin, it's not difficult to do this. So if I tape this into place, put it with my cutting edge going into my white card, and I've got the mask against the flat side of the ornament. I'm going to put them down like that, put my base plate over the top, and I'm going to run it through. This saves me a step because I can transfer it over to do the embossing without having to stop and reposition the die. Just going to move that over, pop that in place, and emboss that image into it. So let's see how that one looks. Got a little bit of tape on here, so let's just undo this, take it apart. The lovely thing about doing it while it's still in the die is you have this real pretty embossing in the center, and you get the gorgeous edge which shows up from the die differently. So you can see that your embossing only shows up where the die isn't. Okay, so that one's done. Let's do the second one. You can see it again. I'm going to use the smaller of the folders on this one. So let's tape this into place. You always want to have the flat side to the die, or to the mask. I'm just going to put a little bit of tape there. Get my cutting plate. Pop it up like this so that the cutting ridge is going down into that. Put our base plate on top of that, and we'll run it through. Now, transfer that over. Picking it all up. The cutting ridge is still going to be face down into the tan mat. Put the base plate on top and we can emboss that. But we have one more to do, and there's plenty of room on this, so let's go ahead and do this. So I've actually taken and put the snowflake ornament inside of this last one. So I'm going to go ahead and do the embossing on it. And we'll show you. I'd already previously cut that, I forgot to tell you. I put a little bit of wax paper in there because every once in a while when you do embossing with the dies, it can have a tendency to cut through the card rather than just emboss it. So a little bit of wax paper in there solves that problem. So let's take that apart. Gently pop that out of the die. And you can see how beautiful that embossing shows up in the center of that. Can you pick that up? There. It's really pretty. And then we'll show you this one. Undo my tape and pop this one out. And we have the smaller size on the polka dots coming through on that one. There, you can see that. Right, so we're going to do a little bit of layering up, so let's use some mounting foam on these. I think that gives a really pretty look. I'm going to put that on the back of that one. Just put a little piece on the back of that one. And what I've done ahead of time is I've created a faux nesty. So I'll have a blue mat to go behind it. Now this is the largest size of the die in this set. However, if you just lay it down on your cardstock and trace around the edge with a pencil and then hand cut it, you've got a slightly larger mat to use. It's a little bit of a cheat, but it's a great idea. We'll set that aside and do our layering. So I've got some mounting foam on the back of this one. Put that in the center like that. Layer up the next one that has the smaller polka dot embossing on it. And then the last one that has the snowflake embossing on it. Oh, how pretty that looks. And then we'll put this into the center of our card. It's a lovely large focal element. And we'll add a messy bow with a little bit of another bow of some primary baker's twine. I've got the blue and white here, and I've topped it off with a pearl embellishment. We'll just put that on the top of our card. You can just arrange that however you like it. Now, to finish the card off on the original, what I did was use the Cosmic Shimmer Pearl PVA glue. And I'll just do a few here. And I've just done little dots out of the glue right in the cross part of the lattice. And it just forms a lovely little pearl. Just go along and just let it drip off the end of the nozzle. Just like that. Easy peasy. Now, I won't finish that, but you can see on the original how effective that is. So there you have it. A very, very elegant twist on a traditional Christmas card. Easy and fun to make. I hope you'll enjoy that.